ADHD life hacks. Yeah, I know that this is quite well-worn territory on the internet, so the list that you're about to see will have none of the following. Gamify hard tasks, exercise, meds, getting enough sleep, setting alarms for small tasks, having drop zones in your house for objects to go in, install a blue light filter on your phone, and say things out loud when you do them so you'll remember them. I have locked the door, I have turned off the stove. Those are my 9 favorite cliches, but my aim with this video is to add something to the ADHD hack canon. So this next list is my list. Huge thanks to Day One for sponsoring this one. Big disclaimer, everyone's different. There is no one ADHD, and this is just what works for me. My top 9 neurodivergent notes. I don't know, man. This is ending my alphabet superset. Let's go. Number 1, get a library card. I'm a big believer that a lot of traits, if you don't use them, they'll find a way to use you. And that has definitely been the case for me when it comes to impulsivity. Physical impulsivity was straightforward enough, physical activity, but mental impulsivity, here's my hack. Get a library card. I am serious, man. This gets at a handful of ADHD traits at once. So you've got impulsivity, but you also have that tendency to have these short bursts of obsession. Like, this month I'm really into 1970s pulp sci-fi art, whatever it happens to be. The point is, the library facilitates this, and it does it all without breaking the bank. I think that's the big thing for me. Impulsivity has been one of those ones that has hurt me financially so much over the years, and also has just got me in a lot of trouble. Library cards, the opposite. Plus, it also gets me out of my phone, and it makes me feel happy to be at the 3rd place.
The most accessible source of knowledge and wisdom available to all should be the public library.
Hack 2. Turn your rules into taglines. I used to work in advertising, and a big thing when you're writing taglines is you want them to be memorable. With memory, when it comes to ADHD, there is that big out of sight, out of mind thing going on. But this is also a challenge that you have in advertising. Once the ad's over, you want it to stick in people's heads, even though they can't say it. And a big way to do this is, get ready, drum roll, make your rules rhyme, or make them catchy. Whatever works for you. Take this tagline, right? Baby, she's born with it. The 2 big challenges that the writer faces are they have very little time to say their message and nobody wants to hear it. In other words, their audience is attention deficit. So I've found that the principles that make this line memorable work pretty well for me, for new habits and ideas. For example, Andrew Huberman has this one that I like, which is sunlight before screen light. You know, when you get up, get natural light before you are staring at your phone. I like that. It's easy to remember. The idea is that you are creating your own soundbite that can live in your memory just a little bit longer than the thought of whatever it is. Others that I have for myself are, when in doubt, sweat it out, baby. Easy choices, hard life, hard choices, easy life, for whenever I need to make a decision. And a job worth doing is worth doing well, which I know is like one of those 1950s motivational posters, but it's also one of those phrases that helps me finish the dishes as opposed to finish 90% of the dishes. Next hack. I know not everybody is pro AI, but oh my God, AI writing your admin emails, game changer. Especially if you want a refund or to fight some faceless bureaucratic brick wall of a machine. ChatGPT has really leveled the playing field for me there. It's taken out so much of the stress. I also did this with subscriptions when I wanted to cancel them. I couldn't really keep track of how many I was doing. I used ChatGPT to figure out how many I had signed up for. And if it was one of those annoying ones where you have to send an email to cancel, I used it to write those emails. Part of me feels weird about AI, but a much bigger part of me truly despises admin. So that's what I do. Next hack, meet the meds halfway. So recently my cousin joined us. She is now one of us. Yeah, she got diagnosed with ADHD and she is now getting medicated. And I'm stoked for her. Anyway, her mum, my auntie, asked me if there's anything game-changing that she should know about meds before my cousin starts taking them. And I thought about it and I was like, actually, yeah, meet the meds halfway. The meds will make you focus on a task. They'll keep you on the task, but it's up to you to choose that task, is how I put it. For example, if you take your meds and then look at Reddit, you are gonna look at Reddit better than you ever have before. But if you take meds and then do your tax return, you will also do that better than ever before. This next metaphor will sound dumb because it is dumb, but sometimes I like to think of meds the way the Fast and the Furious characters think of NOS. It'll definitely make the car go faster, but you still have to steer. Next hack. Don't wear bedrock clothes. At the start of the year, I got this comment from somebody telling me to read Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, so I did. I can't find the comment again, so whoever wrote that, thank you so much. I didn't write back to it, but I read the book. I really liked it. I really like the way she turns phrases, and I like her choice of stories. Anyway, there's this one part where she is talking about if her creativity isn't showing up, she will dress up. She'll dress up to the nines as if to make the creativity be like, you know what, let's hang out, Liz. And I thought about this, particularly as somebody who works from home, because I can definitely get away with wearing whatever the hell I want, but I have also noticed that when I do put a bit of effort, even though nobody's going to see me, into being presentable, I do tend to work better. So I have since shifted my bedrock to presentable ratio much more to this end of things, and it's had a great impact on my creativity, but I've also noticed it to be really ADHD friendly. Obviously I'm not wearing a tux around the house. I am still comfy as hell, but I've found the less I look like this Tony Soprano, the better my days tend to be. Next hack, minimalist phone launcher. I am so freaking distractible. And phones are so freaking good at distracting all of us, even the most attentive of people. So I know that I don't stand a chance, which is why I use this. My phone is all the way over there. I'm not gonna get it because then I'll get distracted. I'll put in some B-roll. Here it is. This is my phone, baby. I really don't like the idea of seeing the visual icons of apps. I just think it's really invasive. I think it really hijacks your attention and whatever it is that you're unlocking your phone for. So I much prefer this. On the topic of phones, this next one is a hack and it is also the sponsor, full disclosure, but this is the app that I use to journal and also take notes. And I have found it to be very ADHD friendly. Day one. So at its core, it's a journaling app. I use it for daily journaling, but it has all these cool features that allow it to be so much more and not in a way that's bloated. For example, you can save templates. So I've got this to-do template if I've ever got like a big day or if I ever need to prioritize or figure out what the main thing is. I got a reflection template. There we go, 3 things. That's kind of nice. And if you prefer audio notes, you can do that too. In addition to the journaling, you've also got these folders where you can do other stuff. So I've got places where I take notes, places where I put ideas that will probably distract me, places where I put links, places where I put screenshots that I know I want to explore later. You can hook it up to if this then that, if that's your thing, which I quite like for Reddit saves. Try Day One Journal today. Go to dayoneapp.com/struthless and use the code struthless to unlock a limited time offer of a 2-month free trial of Day One Premium, baby. That's DAYONE app.com/struthless. But mostly, I'm just kind of stoked that a product I use every day wants to be a sponsor on this channel. Next hack, get your bloods done. I am not a doctor. So please take this with a grain of salt and ask somebody who actually knows what they're talking about, but I'm including this because it had a profound impact on my life. So on the off chance it'll help somebody, here it is. Get your bloods done. Oh my God. Dude, cop this. Turns out I've been living with severe anemia for like a very long time, and I had no idea. A couple of months ago I came back from this trip and my mum took one look at me and she goes, "Campbell, you are blue and falling asleep. You should get your bloods done." So I did. And then I was shocked by the result and I'm like, oh wow. That explains the brain fog, the fainting, and the fatigue. I genuinely just thought I was lazy, and any of the concentration issues I just wrote off to ADHD. Turns out they were a bit gnarlier, and I've since had an iron infusion, and holy moly, dude. I've been playing on hard mode. Wow, my life is so much better now. But it blew my tiny, distractible mind just how many people must be out there thinking that they are lazy or broken or defective, and maybe it's just that they have a very fixable vitamin deficiency. Again, I'm not a doctor, but I put it in this video because there was a bit of a symptom crossover between my ADHD and my anemia. And I wish I had been told earlier, go get a blood test. Question the way school made you feel about learning. Dude, I hated reading when it was prescribed to me in school so freaking much. I really liked books, I loved reading, but if ever a teacher was like, now you have to read this, I just had this allergic reaction. I'm like, well, guess what? I'm gonna read none of that. None, 0%, nothing. But one of the disadvantages that comes from that attitude is I stopped thinking of myself as a reader for a very long time, which meant that I sort of got this idea that maybe I don't like books, which slowly morphed into the more sinister version of that thought. I'll never be smart enough, educated enough, or knowledgeable enough to matter, because I don't like books, right? Nah, dude. Prank. Turns out I love books. Turns out I just much prefer to listen to the books. Real good with audio, terrible with reading. What I thought was an incompatibility with information was actually just a mismatch in the way that I was consuming it. And I've also found, I don't know if anybody else finds this, but the information goes best into my head when I have my hands busy. So I can listen to every word of a book if I'm drawing, and I just find that really pleasant. I get a better relationship with books, despite whatever I learned in school, and I end up with a cool drawing. But this is something that I have been consistently told off for, from school to uni to work. Oh yeah, I saw this quote the other day that was like, what got you in trouble in school will get you ahead in life, and what got you ahead in school will get you in trouble in life. And I think there are plenty of extreme exceptions that we can think of. But in general, I think it's referring to those things like absolute obedience in school was rewarded, absolute obedience in life, punished. For me, I got in trouble a lot for drawing. Now it's my job. Bonus one before we get to the last one. You can be on the couch or you can use your phone. You can't do both at the same time. It's the combination that puts me in the vortex, not one or the other. Account for short bursts of intense obsession. I noticed that a lot of hack lists say things like ADHD is a superpower, structure your work around your ADHD strengths. The bad ones never tell you how. The good ones I've found tend to focus on the micro tactics, the daily scale stuff, like listen to instrumental music, put your phone in a drawer, stuff that I love, fully endorse. But I did find that there was a bit of a gap when it came to talking about the macro picture of structuring work, how ADHD and your work might fit together on a monthly or a yearly scale. So this is how I think about that. Basically, the hack goes like this. Assume that you will have 2 to 6 weeks of being obsessed with one thing, and at the end of that phase, you will completely abandon it and find a new thing. Now, in many contexts, this would be a weakness, having these isolated obsessions, but there are contexts where these things can string together and form a bit of compound interest. Like these little unrelated investments of focus can actually work for you, not just be scattered. For example, when I was working in advertising, you just get really into one product for a tiny bit just for the campaign, then you let it go. When I was freelancing, you just keep going until the end of the project. It was great. And now, YouTube, I get to research the hell out of something, make something I like, and then do it all over again. Anyway, those are my workarounds for having this silly little brain of mine. If you're watching this, there is a very high chance that you have a lot of hacks of your own. And if you feel like commenting, I'd love to read the ones that fall into that obscure but practical area. You know what I mean? Like, get 9 phone chargers, but not that. Anyway, have a beautiful day. Catch ya.